Ms. Curry, your vote says not present at the vote. How about you, Ms. Lawson? Yours says not present at vote as well. And so does Mr. Patterson. So let's just do a verbal. Ms. Lawson? Ms. Curry? Mr. Belmont?
Here.
This is for your acceptance of the minutes. Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion carries unanimously. The board met in executive session. Sorry, we got to adjust this echo. The board met in executive session immediately preceding this meeting to discuss legal, school safety, and personnel matters as permitted by law. Mr. Harris, do you have announcements?
Yes, I do. Okay, the Hugs, Kona, and Kickball Summer Series is coming to an end tomorrow, Thursday, August 19th at the Woodland Hills Senior High. Come on out and play one last game. The game is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And there'll be ices and special guests and other events that are going on there, but come on out and play the last game of kickball. Now for the good stuff. We start school on Monday. We are starting on time, on schedule. We are ready to go. Please go to our Woodland Hills homepage for school information. You will see everything you need to know about going back to school. I can tell you that we are starting on Monday. The kindergartners are starting on Tuesday. So please go to your school's website for more information. Also for WOA, the Woodland Hills Online Academy, please go to the homepage. See information on August 24th. There will be we will be hosting an orientation, an intake meeting for information. We will also be giving out devices that day. So if you have questions about WOA, please go to the website. But on August 24th, there'll be 2 family sessions, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. So please go to the website for some more information. And if you have questions, just call the district, but the website has all the information that you need. Remember, school is starting on Monday. And we're ready to go. Now, I can also tell you, I said Monday, but 9th and 10th graders will begin on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we have the 11th and 12th graders coming back to school. So please go to our website, look up your school, find the information, but we are starting on time, on schedule. So please go school shopping, get your haircuts. We're ready to go. We're happy to be coming back. So that's all I have.
Okay. While we're on the topic of school reopening, I think we should address one concern that has been raised with in the public, I know, and that is the issue of the cafeteria at the high school. That was a very quick turnaround. There were 9 weeks or so in the summer to get the cafeteria gutted and re-outfitted. I can tell you, having been there about 2 hours ago, that it is up and ready to go. Dr. Hildebrand was with me and can confirm that. The inspections are ongoing. There was a health inspection today and passed. The kitchen looks fantastic. It'll be a great asset to the district and to our nutrition staff. And so we are looking forward to getting the occupancy permit on Friday. And everything should be ready to go on Monday. No holdups in the cafeteria, despite what may have been floating out there. So thank you to the construction team, to the nutrition team, for getting all the things in place for the cafeteria, which will be a good, and it's really an improvement. I think it's safe to say. So, yeah, we're looking forward to getting some kids in there on Monday. Okay. Any other announcements from members? Okay. Hearing none. We do not have student speakers this month, but we will expect them in September. Ms. Mann's no pressure, but we will look for that. No presentations this evening, Mr. Harris, is that right?
No presentation.
Okay, and Ms. Hawthorne, no registered speakers.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So that moves us to board matters, Mr. Harris.
Okay, board matters 2.2. I'm sorry, 2.1. We seek to approve all August 18, 2021 board agenda items by consent.
Is there a motion to consider the agenda by consent?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Are there any items the board wishes to remove from the consent agenda to be considered separately? I would ask that we consider the health and safety plan, the return to school plan, which is tab 3.2 as a separate vote and discussion. And we have 5 items in buildings and grounds that were considered last week, 10.1 through 10.5, which would not be among the consent items. And we also will not include new business. We'll address new business independent of the consent item with the boards. The board with the, would those things be acceptable to you both? Okay. Any other items that the board wishes to consider separate and apart from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne will take the vote.
And this is just for the public, this is just to make it on one consent item, not approval of each of these items, so.
Correct, we'll consider the consent agenda in a following motion.
One minute. Mr. Graves, I'm sorry. Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Can we go back to Ms. Lawson for a moment?
Ms. Lawson,
Apologies. Ms. Lawson, we need you to register your vote again. Okay, we'll come back to Ms. Lawson.
Dr. Hildebrand,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
We'll mark her absent at the time of the vote.
Ms. Lawson,
Everyone is muted up there. Can you unmute her?
She has to unmute herself. I'm asking her to unmute, but it's not unmute.
Okay, we'll need to mark her absent at the time of the vote.
I'm sorry.
Need to mark her absent at the time of the vote.
Okay. Ms. Glasser,
Yes, motion carries by a vote of 5 with 1 absent at the time of the vote. 5 to none with 1 absent time of the vote. So now I'm in need of a motion to approve the items on the agenda by consent with the exception of item 3.2 and 10.1 through 10.5, which were approved last week. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Is there any questions or discussion on any item? Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, will you take the vote?
yes. It's open. Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
I didn't hear. him.
I did not.
Mr. Belmont, can you repeat yourself, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to item 3.2. Mr. Harris?
Curriculum 3.2, we seek approval of the district's health and safety reopening plan.
Is there a motion?
Moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Questions or discussion on the health and safety plan?
If I could make a couple of comments,
Yes, please.
that's okay. So first, I'd like to thank Mr. Wilson and Mr. Harris and everyone else who worked on this plan. Really appreciate your efforts. I'd like to address a comment that was brought up last week by a community member regarding skepticism about the function of masks in reducing the spread of COVID. That is undoubtedly false, that masks play no role in preventing the spread of COVID. The number of studies that have been peer reviewed and published is numerous. Several of those studies cite the fact that particle sizes that are blocked by even common cloth masks are highly effective in preventing the spread of COVID, to the effect that if two people are sitting next to each other 3 feet apart, both wearing masks, there's a 98% reduction in the spread of particles that have or aerosols that contain the virus. So I just want to put that out there, that social distancing and mask wearing is absolutely critical to the success of our restart plan. So I highly recommend everyone to be vigilant and follow the protocol with fidelity. And I also highly recommend those who have not been vaccinated, please do so to protect yourselves and your loved ones at home. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Other comments or questions? Okay. A couple of questions that have come up and I think were discussed at last night's parents meeting, which, first of all, thank you to the executive team and to the principals for hanging on for a 3-hour meeting last night. I think hanging on is, I'm being a little bit glib, but it was a very important meeting and I appreciate everyone putting in the time to answer all the questions that were being asked last night, because I think they're very important and help to give some peace of mind to families who might be concerned about the return to school next week. And there were a lot of questions about the health and safety plan. There were a lot of questions about other things too, just regarding regular back to school stuff, which was kind of nice to hear. But one question that was raised, and I know that we had some folks on from Site Logic last night to talk about ventilation in the buildings. So Mr. Harris, can you and the team address what our ventilation systems, how they operate? Do they provide enough fresh air? And, you know, given the demonstrations around the importance of ventilation in reducing COVID spread, are we confident that we have what we need in place to address that?
Yes, the systems are actually better than having the window open because they cycle air through the room. So for them to work effectively, the rooms need to have the windows actually closed because it throws the air handler units off balance. So just because the window's closed does not mean there's not fresh air being cycled through the room. So there's filters in the systems and there's fresh air being put through. So we're very confident that the systems are well run, they're well maintained, the filters are cleaned daily or weekly on schedule. And the best option for us to go back to have healthy air environments are to keep those windows closed and have the systems running effectively. And we're very confident that the system that we have the air tested annually and filters are cleaned, our staff is trained, and we're very comfortable that the air handlers are working well.
Yeah, I would encourage people to listen to Mr. Hayden's comments last night regarding some of the ventilation stuff. Because I think it was helpful in understanding just how the systems work and what is in place in the buildings. We'll be able to have a continuing conversation about that question. I think when Mr. Finney returns to work at committees in a couple of weeks as well, and make sure that things are operating as they should in those buildings. The other question that I wanted to follow up on was last week we had a conversation about in-school testing. There's been some developments on that front. So I wonder, Mr. Harris, if you'd be willing to update us on the testing question.
COVID test.
COVID testing.
Okay,
Yes, sorry.
we are a school.
Sorry,
We do
right,
testing.
there are other tests, but I'm referring to the COVID testing that we discussed last week as part of this conversation.
You can't tell I'm laughing under my mask. Okay, yes, we will be offering COVID testing in our buildings and also vaccinations in our buildings. The state has contracted with a company and we submitted our information to have on-site testing. We're not sure of the date yet, but there will be notifications once we have that for parents to sign the information, to submit their information that will allow it. Right now, we're still waiting on details from the state, but there will be on-site testing. There's various types of testing, which I'm not going to get into right now, but we will offer that and also have the opportunity for parents to take their children off-site to be tested also. So there's no mandatory or forced testing, but we're offering the opportunity and the options available on our site to have your child and staff tested.
Safe to say that's still a developing conversation that we'll be updating families on as it progresses. Okay, and we are considering a couple of different tools for the testing, the
Yes,
COVID testing piece. Okay. Okay. Buses require masks.
buses require masks, yes.
Okay. And enforcement is, what are the consequences of not masking on a bus or coming to school without masks? What are
We have masks available on the buses and in school.
Okay.
Just like we were in the spring when we ended, we had requirements. And I can tell you, we ran a summer program opportunity camp, which was great. We had students on buses in schools with staff. We had no problems with students not wanting to wear masks. In fact, most kids think they're pretty cool. They look like ninjas, they say. They like wearing masks. We have extra masks, so it isn't like it was brought up last night, give and take. You don't have to turn one in to receive one. We have lots of masks. We have lots of PPE. If your child is uncomfortable wearing a mask, or if they have a health condition such as asthma, which was brought up last night, there are spaces in the buildings and times where the mask can be removed outside of eating and recess, where if they just need a break from wearing the mask all day, that can be done. And that would be managed through the classroom teacher and the building administrator.
Okay.
So the students do not have to sit in a room all day wearing their mask. There's timeout areas and things like that that can be worked into the schedule.
And we can make accommodations.
Yes, we can always make
as
accommodations as necessary. Your first point of contact is always your teacher. And let the teacher know, and then that person will work with the nurse and the administrators in the building to make arrangements for your child.
Okay. How about volunteers?
Volunteers, same thing. We're back to school. So we know we have volunteers and visitors that come into our buildings. You'll go through our security system, our Raptor system, and they'll be required to wear masks also, just like anyone else. So we're back to school 100%. We just have to wear masks and be vigilant on our sanitation stations that we have that can be used. Hand washing, distancing, or multiple touch areas will be cleaned frequently. We just have to ride this through and make sure that we stay safe.
Okay. Any other questions on the health and safety plan? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ask me to say it again.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay. I also need to acknowledge that during the consent item, we approved 2 new employees who are on the call. One is Marissa Bragg, who will be the new assistant principal at the high school. Congratulations, Ms. Bragg. Thank you very much for joining us. We're looking forward to meeting you and to having you for the start of the school year. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited about this opportunity.
Thank you very much. In addition, we have Killian Spitz-Cohan, who will be a special education teacher at Dixon. And we're very excited to have this alum back in the district as a teacher as well. And it's great to have her on board full time after having spent some time with us as a new teacher, learning a student teacher. I suppose.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back.
Great to have you. Thanks so much. Okay, so that moves us to old business. Is there any old business? Okay, hearing none. New business. We have 2 items of new business. Mr. Harris?
Okay, new business 17.1, we seek permission of the MOU between the Woodland Hills School District and the Woodland Hills Education Association regarding employee vaccination.
Does the board wish to take action on this motion? Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, the motion is to table. All in favor of that motion? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none. 17.2.
17.2, we seek permission to approve the contract with Bayad Pediatrics for the 2021-22 school year at a cost of $45 per hour in order to provide nursing services during the school day for one district student attending Western PA School for the Deaf.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Questions or discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to reports. We did committee reports last week, so we will not repeat those, but I will remind everyone that we meet in committee on August 31st and September 1st for the September sessions. The calendar's a little bit funny, so we have one day before the month starts. So we will have Tuesday, August 31st and Wednesday, September 1st. Any other reports from board members? Okay. Hearing none, that moves us to public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? I don't believe there's anyone in the room. Is there anyone online who wishes to address the board? If so, please use the raise hand function and indicate your intention to speak.
Some-
That's the cursor.
Yes. Yes, yeah.
Okay, we'll just give it 10 seconds. Okay, seeing no one online, that moves us to section 20. Mr. Harris.
Okay, 20.1, we seek permission to adjourn the August 18th, 2021 agenda setting meeting, legislative meeting.
Legislative meeting, yes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none. Thank you very much. We'll see everyone on August 31st.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Aye.
Are we set?